Hi Melissa, this is Mike from Stagecoach Road Vintage Sewing Machine, and your beautiful singer is finished and ready to come home. She's sewing great, and this is the final test video in which we just double check to make sure that she's doing everything she should. And while we're at it, we'll go over how to thread her and wind the bobbin and how to sew. You may already know all of that, but we'll go over it anyway. Okay, yeah, first we'll start by making some stitches. Just like any other sewing machine, your presser foot lifter is on the back. You just drop that down, hold your threads, and off you go. It'll be a little smoother when you get it in your treadle stand, but to give you the idea. This releases your tension so you can pull your project out. And you may or may not be able to see that nice. You definitely won't see the white there, but you can see the black all right. Okay, we'll start by winding a bobbin. Being a shuttle bobbin, a little different. This is your bobbin winder, of course. You put it in the end that's got the groove for the belt, and you pull the other end out. It's spring-loaded. And there's a little divot in the middle of this piece here that the little tip on the end of your bobbin goes into. Put your thread on the thread spool. Go through the top thread guide and down into the bottom thread guide on the bobbin winder, and then the top thread guide, and then you either tie it to the bobbin, which some people do, or you can hold it onto the bobbin, as some people do, or you can do this, which some people do, which is the thread pinch between the bobbin winder and the bobbin, which is about the easiest way. So now your thread is pinched in this side here. I'm going to cut off this extra tail, but you're still in your top thread guide and your bottom thread guide here. Hold just a tiny bit of tension on here. Release the clutch knob in the middle of your hand wheel. Then the machine doesn't cycle when you turn the hand wheel to wind the bobbin. Oh, right, I don't have a belt on it, so I guess I'm turning the bobbin winder. And as you turn the bobbin winder, this will go back and forth and wind your thread evenly on the bobbin. Needless to say, I'm not going to wind a whole lot of thread on here, because that would take a while. But again, once you have it on your treadle stand, it will be a simple matter of making it whir. Okay, good enough. That's how it's done. So you're going to have to wind a bobbin when you first start, because there's really not enough thread on here to sew with. Hold your bobbin so the thread comes off to the right. Drop it into the bobbin case in the shuttle. Hold it with the end of your finger. Slide the thread down the slot to the end, and then pull back. And now the thread is under this little leaf spring, and that is what applies the tension. And that tension feels pretty good. Hold it by this little handle here and slip it in to your shuttle mover. Make sure it's seated down properly. Close the slide plate almost all the way, but you don't want to quite pinch your thread. Now to thread the machine, put your spool on the spool pin, go into the upper thread guide here on the faceplate, down between the discs of the upper tension, and if you press down this tension release, it makes it pull up easier. Not that it really matters a lot. And then make sure that you catch your check spring over here on the side. Then when you pull up on it, you should see the check spring move. From there you go into your take-up lever. And then down to the thread guide on the faceplate. And down to the thread guide on your needle clamp. And then through your needle from left to right towards the middle of the machine. And I like to cut a nice clean end on it so I'm not fighting the frayed ends. And now your upper end is threaded. Anytime you need to pull the thread, like when you're taking your project out, you press this little lever down here and that releases the tension so you can pull the thread. Hold your needle thread loosely, not too tight, and turn your, first tighten the clutch knob that would loosen to wind the bobbin. Turn the hand wheel toward you one full turn, and your needle will go down and wrap around the shuttle and bring up your lower thread. There you have it. Upper thread, lower thread, go between the toes of the presser foot towards the back of the machine. Put your project under the presser foot. Lower it. And hold your threads for the first stitch or two until it locks in place, and then you're ready to rock and roll. There. And release your tension while you pull your thread. If you release the tension, it keeps you from pulling your needle and potentially bending it. But see, got a nice seam there on the front and on the back. Nice, well balanced. That's it. This screw down knob here is your sewing foot pressure. If you are sewing something heavy and you want a little more pressure on the presser foot, you screw that knob down. If you're sewing something lightweight, you might want to let it off just a little bit so the teeth of the feed dogs don't dig into your fabric quite so hard. This is your stitch length, this chrome knob, or silver knob here, nickel silver. All the way in is longer stitches. The longest stitches is when the knob is screwed all the way in. As you screw it out, your stitches get shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. So that's about it. There's not really a lot of controls on this machine. So there you go. I'll send you an invoice in the mail, and or an email, that is. And I'm going to leave your upper end threaded so that you can study that before you thread it for yourself the first time. There we go.